How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Crazy busy. What's going on?
Yeah, actually, Wayne hasn't joined yet. We're just waiting for him.
He just
Okay.
tell me he's on the lecture, and the lecture will end the lecture very soon, and we can start now because this meeting I'm currently recording this meeting. He can
Okay.
see it
Okay, cool.
later again if he miss anything.
I'm gonna say I've got another meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got another meeting.
Okay. Yeah, we'll start. We will start. Donovan,
Okay.
yeah, I have sent an email to you with for organization data. Like I have sent all the key data points.
Yeah. So I think for the final prototype, you just use the you use dummy data, but I'll
Okay.
give you the variables that you can create. Okay. Does that make sense? Because I can't give you access to our live API calls.
Okay. Okay. Do you want us to create our own values for those?
Yeah, your own dummy data, and then effectively we'll bring your skill into, or bring your blocks into our live skill. Does that make sense? Into our dev skill.
Okay.
Yep.
So
yeah.
As you said before, what we need to do is to build a view module, right? Hello.
Account. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what we're talking about? Oh, here we go. Variable name. Yep, that's cool. Is that all of? Let me share. I wonder if I can share my screen.
Okay.
Hang on. Do you want to share your screen? Because I think I've got what it is. Can you see my screen right now?
It's your mobile phone.
So,
yeah.
So you mean this document here?
Yeah.
Priyanka?
Yes.
Okay. So you're asking for the variables that we have in the system or have in Tania that align to these, or everything? So all of this list here, variable name,
Yes.
those are the ones that you need me to give you the actual variable listing that we've got in Tania, yeah?
Yeah. For these variables, I would need the organization like industry benchmark value so that we can compare. But
yeah. So the values will. So essentially, how it works is all of our data. We have a database that is going between. So there's quite a complicated process to manage authorization of the live zero data that you would use. So my recommendation for the prototype is that I'll give you the variable name so you can create them, but you use set blocks to create the dummy data at the beginning of your prototype.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then you can see my screen.
I think your screen is very confusing because it's coming very small in a phone. In a phone version.
So just the email that you sent me.
Yeah.
So the email that you sent me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Which variables do you want the listing for? Can you just send me so you've got a list that says annual enterprise survey financial year provisional data. So what I need from you is just a list of the variable names that you need me to give you of how they're laid out in Tania. So don't give me, you've given me the whole document, so I don't want to go through every single one. Can you just list it?
I just gave you this list because some are in millions, some are in percentage or median ratios. So if you know this value, then it will be easier for you to give the list, right? So because if you give me in percentage, then again it will be difficult. If you say financial ratios of industry, it is in decimal 0.11, whereas in for the New Zealand,
the the dummy data. I'm not going to give you data. So you guys come up with the dummy data. I'm going to give you we bring the organizational data into Tania using specific variables. Let me show you, for example, can you still see my screen?
Yep.
I can see, but it's in a
So,
very small.
so for example, income, right? Coming into Tania for an organization, it has a variable name like that. So if you're asking me for data, is that what you're asking for, or just variable descriptions?
Data means we need the value.
Yeah, no. Because we'll have a ton of different organizations, so I recommend you just use dummy data for the final prototype. Because the data for organizations connected to Tania come in live from zero, and there's a huge mixture of, so I recommend you use 3 different organizations, dummy organizations with all this data in it for your final prototype.
Okay. Then I have one, actually it's a very basic question, like as you told, to use 3 organizations data, right? For example, I have given you the agriculture, forestry and fishing. Like that, do you want us to consider 2 more industries?
Yeah, I think for your final prototype, just so that you can prove that it works across different industries, not just one.
Okay.
So remember, your final prototype has to work across all of the industries that are available, not just 3. But you can use 3 sets of company data that are in different industries. So choose one from apple and pear growing, choose one from manufacturing. Yeah, so just choose 3 different industry organizations and mock up the dummy data for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you mean we need to do the comparison 3 times during the final prototype?
For the final prototype, you'd need to be able to show that your prototype can work across different industries, because we won't have organizations on Tania that only are in apple and pear growing. So the purpose of building your prototype is that it doesn't just work on one industry, it can work on a number of industries, right? Because you're benchmarking. Does that make sense?
Yep. But my question is, for example, I have a company A, then it is belong to printing industry, say for example.
Yeah.
And just like what we have done in our first prototype, we asking for the what ratio do we need to carry, then the ABC company is to compare the benchmark with that industry only, but not compare with other industry benchmark.
Yeah. And then the user should be able to, then I think you could use 2, but you need to be able to show that your build operates for apple and pear and it can operate for another industry type. You haven't just built it for one industry type.
Okay. Because
otherwise
our prototype already capable to compare all the industry. Even during the first prototype.
But cool. So what I recommend is you grab 2 sets of data, one for one industry, one for another industry, and your final prototype shows that it can run between 2 different industries. You know, so one organization might be apple and pear, and another organization might be fishing. And so when you play the prototype, it should go and get the apple and pear industry data and compare it to the apple and pear company. And then it should be able to go and get the fishing benchmarking data and compare it to the fishing company, because that validates that your prototype works across different industries.
Oh, I see.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's just to prove, you're just proving that it works.
Okay, that means still only compare with that industry, but not cross-industry comparison, right?
Yeah. You're
Okay.
just proving that it compares with the right industry, and that you haven't just built your prototype for one industry. Like you say, look, it can do any industry, but for the final prototype, we've built it for 2 different ones, and then show it.
Got it.
So I picked 2 different industries so that the numbers, the benchmarking ratios are different. Do you know what I mean? Very different.
Yep. In terms of the magnitude.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you get an industry that's similar, you might end up with similar benchmarking reports, eh? So get ones that are different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can just dummy up. See all this data that's on this. You can just dummy up the organization data, just like you did in your prototype.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, Donovan, one more question. Like in the screen you're presenting, right? There is an annual enterprise survey financial. Like I was not sure whether we can include this in the prototype or not, because it has a long list of variables, and I don't know whether it's relevant for the benchmarking industry or not.
Oh, I think that it's a good one to have,
Okay.
because we can get all of this information from the organization.
Okay.
So
Fine.
I think you should include it.
Sure. Okay. We will load this as well.
Yeah, you see the bottom ones, they are the current ratio, quick ratio, they're already in the others. But those top ones, like total income, sales of goods not further processed, non-operating income, total expenditure, depreciation, so all of those values we bring in, Titania. Some of them we don't, but I think if you include all of them, if we have them, then we have them. If we don't have them, then we don't have them.
Okay.
So I think
Fine.
you should, So I think that you should build it. So for example, the one that we don't have is government funding, grants and subsidies, okay? So how you should build the prototype is assume that the data is going to be 0. So the conversation should say, you currently don't have data set up for government funding, so we're unable to give you that benchmark. Okay?
Yeah.
Exceptional handling.
Yeah, handling. So you assume that if the data is 0, so build this, if the data is 0, you won't give a benchmark against it, because obviously there's not a value in there.
Yes. There are fields where there's not relevant. So
Yeah. Basically, it's because the data is thin for the organization.
Okay. Just let me sum up what you have told so far. Like you want us to, the prototype should be dynamic, so that if user comes and asks for any other any industry name, the benchmark should be able to answer it. But whereas for the organization data, we need to hard code those values, so we can hard code for any 2 industries and compare with those values and just give the benchmark, right? That is what we expected for the prototype.
Yes.
Okay. And even for each industry, there is an industry class division is there again. There's
you assume that the user of that organization has given you the industry and the industry class, the 2 tiers.
Yeah.
In both
because
New Zealand and Australia. You don't have to ask them for it. It will already be in our back end. It will already be confirmed exactly the same.
Okay.
So when they set up, so how that works is when they set up an organization, they will choose an industry and an industry class based on that list that you're using. So it will be a 1-to-1 match. Okay? That's why you have to have all the industries in there.
Okay.
In the raw data.
Okay.
I also, just in terms of, how some of you had issues with your data deleting off VoiceFlow.
Yeah.
So that happened to me this morning. Apparently it's just a display issue, so they're working on it. If you press the letter H, then all of the blocks will come back. So they haven't actually disappeared or deleted, they're just hidden. So they're working on that bug.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
So they
if
sit
you
there
right click it,
for
there is the
everyone.
option called back to home. It will be appear again.
Yeah. Well, it happened to me twice this morning working with one of the other team members. So I contacted VoiceFlow and said that everyone's stuff was like disappearing. And then it happened to me this morning. So when I caught up with them, they said did an update and it's hidden the data, the flows for some reason. It's a bug, but they're clearing it. So your data actually hasn't disappeared, it's just hidden. So if you press the letter H in that flow, then the block should come back. Okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So the variable name we use must be the same with your real Tanya.
Yeah. So the variable names, so that list that you've got, can one of you send me through the final list of variables, right? And I can give you the breakdown of what the variables look like in Tanya. Okay?
Okay. But what should the list include except the name of the variable and the description of the variable? Anything else?
Yep, no, that's it. And then I'll give you what the variable looks like in Tanya at the moment.
Okay. That means just two columns, the name and the description.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool. So if you send me the full list, then I'll share back to you all of the variables to the three of you, and you can build those for the organization. Okay?
Okay.
Yep.
And in case we can't find the financial figure, just leave it blank or anything we need to do. Because for the first prototype, we can only find, I mean, for my group, we can only find a useful financial ratio.
Right. So you should have income, expenditure, profit, and assets. That's all in the New Zealand data.
Mm-hmm. That means 8 plus 3.
So you should use those.
The minimum requirement
The
is
financial.
11, right?
Sorry?
The minimum financial figure requirement should be 11. The 8 financial ratio plus income, expenditure, and the one you said.
Profit.
Yeah.
Profit, assets. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you should be able to use those because
Okay.
they're available on everything. In Australia, it's expenses to turnover, gross profit ratio, net profit ratio. You know, those are all standard calculations that every company has. So all of the variables that Priyanka has, like cost of sales, benchmark ratio, you know, cost of sales, turnover, which is income, total expenses. So you should do the ratios and those values because they're all available in the benchmark and in the organisation. So how about whoever does the list, send it to me, and then if I think it's missing based on the list that's available in the New Zealand data, I'll add it in. But Priyanka, the list that you sent me's got everything that I expect to be in there.
Yeah, it's I have just given I have given extra values
Yeah.
Just to better understanding the data, how it looks,
Yeah.
it is in millions or in percentage. Yeah, actually that data would work. I'll just consolidate only the variables and send it to you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks so much. It just makes it easier for me.
Yeah. One more
Um,
question. One more
yeah.
question. For each industry, there is an industry class, right? Whereas in real, the organization, the industry bench market value will be different for this industry class as well, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
if you see a lot on screen, like you see industries
Yeah.
accommodation food, industry classes accommodation, and we'll have different organization data for it. And
Yeah.
if you go for caves and restaurant industry class, there will be a different industry
Yeah.
market
Yeah.
value.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can assume the user will have chosen the industry division and the industry class. Okay. So those are given values that you will then use as a lookup to go and grab the right data.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you don't have to ask them for it. You'll already know that organization is a food services company and they're catering services. And so your API should then go and get those variables for catering services. Cool?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, but can we
I don't remember.
directly
Or
use
the
the industry
Australian
class?
one, yeah, you have to dynamically use the industry class. So it might be another company is accommodation and food services, but they're a pub, tavern, and bar. Down the bottom. Do you see? So you have to dynamically be able to look up, you know how you concatenate? If you concatenate those two and then look up into the Google sheet, that should work beautifully.
Okay.
So my suggestion is you concatenate these in your Google sheet and you do a call from the skill to that Google sheet for the concatenated view, and it'll bring you back the right data.
Yeah, just make a primary key
I
for
don't remember.
searching.
Yeah?
Okay. I have questions. One is because I just missed the first part. So we focus on New Zealand data only. Because
No, New Zealand and Australia. But,
okay, and Australia.
But organised, so maybe it's you use a New Zealand organisation and an Australian organisation. Because if you think about it, when an organisation onboards Titania, they choose the industry, they'll choose the industry class, and they'll choose. So if they're a New Zealand company, they'll be given the New Zealand industry classes. If they're an Australian, because we know if they're Australian, if they're an Australian company, they'll be given the Australian benchmark classes to choose.
Okay.
So you can assume that when you've built your skill at the beginning, you know what industry, what second tier they are, or third, depending on, because does Australia have 3 tiers or 2?
Right. 2, I guess.
It looks like they have
only some are 1 and some are 2.
Oh yeah.
We got 2.
For New Zealand, you have 2 tiers for New Zealand. What about Australia?
We got 2 industry division and industry class.
Yeah, cool. So you can assume that Tanya is already, we've captured the tier 1 and the tier 2. Okay.
Okay, but how do we know which country the user wants to benchmark?
And the country. So you'll be given the
Okay.
first tier, the second tier, and the country.
Okay.
You'll be given that, and then your search should occur based on those 3 variables. Cool.
Okay. And for New Zealand and Australia, they also got the size band, the size of different.
And you can add the size band in as the 4th variable that is known.
Okay.
Yep. Depends
Okay.
on the total income.
Yep.
Okay, that means it
Yeah.
should have.
So if it's chosen by total income, you can assume that you've been given that variable. So that variable will change throughout the years. It might be 50,000 today and then $1 million another day. So you have to assume that you'll be given the income band. So maybe you call the variable income band and ensure that it can dynamically, that you can dynamically search on the different bands, right? So one day you might get a company that is an agriculture, forestry, and they're a nursery and flowers, and their income is 1 million, right?
Yep.
But then another company that uses Tanya, they might be, can you scroll down? We'll go to a different industry. Who's this a spreadsheet that they're sharing? Can you scroll down for me, please? Yeah, go down, keep going. So, keep going. So stop. So we might have another company, they're agriculture, forestry, they're fruit and tree, grape growers, and their income is 10,000 to 50,000. So just ensure you've got a dynamic search for that enables you to dynamically search in your data based on these 3 variables plus the country.
Okay.
I've got another meeting in 3 minutes, so
Okay.
does everyone get that?
Yeah, means one final question, like as we know the company, we already feed all this information in Tanya, but as we are developing prototype for the first time, we don't know the in any industry right now. Shall the user shall Tanya ask all these inputs from the customer, or
No, I want you to choose 2 for the final prototype
okay,
and provide dummy data. You choose the industries.
okay.
Is 2 for New
But
Zealand plus 2
essentially,
for Australia, or each for one for each
just
country?
one for Australia. Yeah, one for Australia, one for New Zealand. Just use different industries across New Zealand and Australia and use different values for the income range or the company size.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense for me. You said that we need to include the country, industry, and the size band, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
for example, for the New Zealand case, because this is my
Yep.
design, I have skipped to use industry division. I use the class instead to make the composition of the primary key. Is it okay for you? Because
Yep.
this is
Yep.
unique. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you can just use, for example, you could build in the skill that the country, you do an if statement to determine, because you'll know what their company is if it's New Zealand or Australia. So you can either build it in here as part of your reference key, or you can build it separately. But you get those 4 variables. You'll get the country, the 2 tiers of industry, and the size band, whether it be income or employee numbers. Okay?
Yep.
I've got another, is there any other questions? Sorry, I've got another call, but I'm happy to catch up in a couple of days if you have any other questions.
We are good for now, and we will start implementing, and if you have any questions, we will get back to you again, Donna.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your
No,
time.
that's fine. I just think it's easier. It means that you don't have to try and build our complicated API data calls. So my suggestion is dummy data. Otherwise, it'll become too hard for you because it took us a while to build it. So just use dummy data for now for the organizations. But as soon as you send me the list, I'll populate the variables that you should use, right? So that when we do bring it into Tanya, it's easier for us to bring it in. Okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
thank you.
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Lawrence,
Yep.
yeah. Will you be able to share me this recorded version
Sure.
of class?
I will post it at YouTube.
Okay, fine.
By the way, I
Just
have
send me the
I have
link.
a
Okay.
question want to ask you.
Okay.
Regarding the variable, because during the first demonstration, we only including this egg variable, but Donna Lorraine had talking about we need to add three more. Is it income, expense, and net profit?
Not only like if you go into the New Zealand ratios, if you go into the New Zealand sheet,
This one or which one?
and
This one or this one?
this one, anything is fine. If you filter the E column,
Which one?
like you take any industry and filter for one industry, class and industry.
Okay, just take accommodation.
Accommodation, yeah. If you see next to the accommodation, business count, employee count, income, expenditure, profit, these are all the variables she was asking to send. And for each sheet, if you go to the new NGET ratios, it is a different kind of variables over there.
But
So for each,
but I have asked her. She said that what she needs is 11 attribute. They are this X plus another 3, but I missed what she said before during this meeting. That's why I asked you.
means these are all like what she was written is like initially this she was expected those values, but we have so many other variables came into from the data collection, right? So we just need to send those variables to her.
I see.
Yeah.
Let me send her what we have and let her to make a final clarification what she need, right?
Yeah, means that is she has opened one document, right? In that I have taken a sample data for one of the industries from each sheet, New Zealand, New Zealand and Australia, and I have given the list of variables we've been using in the sheet.
Can you share it to me?
I'll share my I'll share my screen to you now. I'll just
Okay, let me.
give me. See, this is a sample data in New Zealand. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yep.
Yep. This is New Zealand financial all industries. So these are the variables. Like this is the values I've shared with her. Like she's expecting these variable: business count, employee count, income, expenditure. And if you go down for financial ratios and industry, these are the gross profit ratio, stock per turnover. These are the variables we need to give it to her.
That means 8 ratio plus 6 figure.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are there.
Yep, 14.
14. And like I have asked one more, like we have gathered one more for one more an annual enterprise server financial year for New Zealand, and it has so many fields. I have asked her whether she would require it or not. She told she would need it. So these are the variable names.
This is your variable, right? Or
Yeah.
or their variable.
Yeah, these are variable. Yeah.
What I mean is,
So for even
this is your variable name or Donna Marine variable name?
This is my variable. Like, see, this sheet has been pulled from the New Zealand financial industries. This sheet has been pulled from financial ratios of all industries. These values, and this is from annual survey, enterprise survey financial year. So it has these variables.
I see.
And if you go to Australia, and these are the values available. Australia financial ratios. This is 17, this is 16 and 15, and small business key benchmark. It's a different value, like total expenses benchmark, average, gross cost of sales, cost of average, turnover. Different set of variables available for each industry type. You got
Can you send
confused
me this
totally?
document?
Yeah, I will send it to you.
Okay. Is this document raised by you, or this is requested by Donna Marine before?
Sorry?
Is this document prepared by you, or this is requested by Donna Marine?
This document was prepared by me, and as she told us to give us the benchmark data variables we have in our Excel sheets, so that she can give the organization data to us to compare. But now she told for us to prepare the dummy value to compare with the organization industry. So this sheet has been prepared by me, and I've shared this sheet to Donna Murray.
But this sheet is for the first prototype or the final prototype?
These are the list of benchmark data points we have in each industry kind.
I understand. What my question is this sheet is for preparing the first prototype or preparing the final prototype?
This is for not for first or final. This is for prototype build up. For prototype, we need all these values, right? So this will use for first as well as the final prototype, because she will give the initially before this meeting. Initially, she told she will give the organization data for us to compare our industry with the organization data. But now she was told us to give the dummy values for the organization data ourselves, right?
So
You
for the
totally
first
confused?
prototype, have you used the Google Sheet API to call the data stored at the Google Sheet?
Yes.
Okay, me too. Because when I heard what she said during this meeting, I feel a little bit strange, because what she need is to make sure our prototype can find out the result from different industry, but this should be ready during the first prototype already. And that's why I feel strange.
Let me I'll answer you in half of question, for your half question. Yes, she told us to sorry, can you ask the question again? Like, I've missed it.
My question is, from what Donna Marine said, during the final prototype, we need to prove we can find out the benchmarking figure from different industry. For example, the printing industry, the accommodation industry, blah, blah, blah. But this should already be done during the first prototype, isn't it? Because during the first
For the
prototype, if you query which industry from the Google Sheet, that means your prototype should be able to find out the figure from the Google Sheet already, no matter which industry you are asking for. But this seems become the requirement for the final prototype as well. But this is already done during the first prototype, and that's why I feel strange.
Okay, for the first prototype, we just gave a demo how the Tanya works with the data and all. And the second thing is like she was telling for example, you are one of the industry, I'm one of the industries. If you ask Tanya, the Tanya should be able to answer any of the industry's data. So for now, if I say means she don't for what she is telling, like set the industry names in the variables so that Tanya will take the values from those industries and she should be able to answer all the benchmarking data information. It should be in such a way that if we have 108 industries, the Tanya should be able to get one name, industry name and industry class, and make an call to the Google API and fetch the data for the corresponding values from the Google Sheet, and it should able to answer those values.
But actually, I think we don't need to input the industry division. We can simply input the industry class. That's fine. Because if you remember my last question, I have asked her, can we simply use the industry class plus country plus the size band and the financial ratio to dig out what she need? And she said, yes, we can do it. We can simply skip the industry division, because this can make
Means,
things
yeah.
more easier.
Yeah, means we know we if I know my company, I would already know my industry, so I would also be knowing my industry class, so we should be considering other values only, right?
Anyway, let me
So
take a look
the
your
complicated one when you
because
start
I need
building
to
the
send
prototype.
that to her anyway.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I will mail you the document. Thank you. Sorry if I'm not able to answer your questions.
No worry, no worry. That's fine.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.